Hey everyone, welcome back to Work Unscripted, the show where we talk about what's really happening behind closed conference room doors. I'm your host, Marlo Lyons, and today we're tackling something raw, something taboo, and something that happens more than we care to admit. What we really think about people after they get fired. Let me start with this. Someone getting fired doesn't always mean they were bad at their job. Sometimes it means they were different. And sometimes different is threatening or not accepted. When someone gets fired, it creates this cultural moment at work, an awkward silence, a flurry of Slack messages, whispered postmortems by the coffee machine. Everyone's trying to decode the why. And if we're honest, most of the time, we never really know. We assume, we speculate, we distance ourselves. And sometimes it's for good reason. The person was incompetent or embezzled from the company and others knew about it. Or the person was simply a jerk. But in absence of an obvious bad reason, what if our assumptions about them are wrong? I want to pause here and ask, how many of us have thought less of someone after they were let go, even though you had no idea why they were fired? How many of us slowly ghosted them, stopped inviting them to our happy hours, deleted them from that group text, and simply didn't reach out after they were escorted out of the building or told to turn in their laptop? We do it because we think we know what happened, and we almost never do. But that judgment could be hurting you in the long run. As a former HR executive, I sat in on dozens of firings. I heard it all. I witnessed it all. Let me tell you a few stories. I'll change names, but not the reality. Case one, a woman who always turned her work in at the last minute. Always. But she never missed a deadline. And the quality? Impeccable. Her manager, though, hated her style. Felt like she was chaotic. Hard to trust, is what he said. He wanted updates on the progress of her work because he never believed she would get it done. But that wasn't her style. She did her best work under pressure. After numerous meetings and trying to influence the manager that not everyone worked like him, she got fired. Not for poor performance, but for poor alignment. But here's the kicker. She landed at another company, same role, and is crushing it, and has been there for more than 2 years. Different environment, different manager, different story. All right, case two, a man whose leader constantly complained about him, but only behind closed doors. The leader claimed he was giving feedback on a regular basis. And of course, I'd ask, what exactly did you say? Then I'd meet with the employee here and there, and the employee would tell me a completely different interpretation of what was said or not said. Basically, what I put together was the leader didn't have the guts to give real feedback, actionable feedback. In essence, this employee had no clue they weren't a high performer. There was nothing in writing. But guess what was in writing about a month later? A performance improvement plan, a PIP, that was so vague you couldn't coach a dog with it. The employee tried, he really did, but he was chasing a moving target, and eventually he was let go. Oh, and here's the kicker. I came to find out that that manager was on the chopping block for their own erratic behavior. Surprise? Not so much. If you're wondering why HR didn't do something about these situations, you haven't listened to my episode, The Truth About HR, What You Need to Know. As soon as you finish this, hop over to that episode. I digress. The point is, these aren't exceptions. They're common. Many people are fired not because they're ineffective, but because someone felt threatened, annoyed, or uncomfortable with how they worked. But here's the tragedy. When someone is fired, their brand at work changes instantly. People stop seeing the talent and start seeing the stain. It's guilt by termination. And when you distance yourself from someone just because they were let go, you're participating in that smear. Maybe not maliciously, but it's there. We talk a big game about empathy, but let's be real. How empathetic are we after someone loses their job? And here's where it gets even more real. Fast forward a few months, maybe a year. That person you ghosted, They just landed at a hot new company in a higher position and they're hiring. And now you want to reconnect? Now you remember how talented they were? Nope. That bridge? Burnt. I've seen this happen over and over. Someone gets fired, people turn their backs, then that same person is back in power at a better company than the one they left. And shocker, they remember who showed up, who stayed in touch, and who didn't. I remember when I was fired, I was a petulant little 26-year-old who couldn't keep her mouth shut. Oh, yeah. Some people maybe didn't want to keep in touch. That is absolutely fair. But those who did, I am still close friends with to this day. Those who didn't reach out, I remember a few reached out when I landed in a bigger TV news market asking if I could put in a good word for them. No. So here's what I want to challenge you to do. Decide for yourself who someone is. Think about how they showed up before the firing. Were they dependable, creative, passionate, effective? Don't let whispers or office politics color your perception. Ask yourself, if I had to work with them again, would I? Because often the answer is yes, if you strip away the story others told you to believe. So here's the takeaway. When someone is fired, you respected before they were let go, don't ghost them. Reach out. Stay connected. Ask how you can help them. There is no law that says you can't contact someone who is fired. I know, it's awkward, and you don't know the protocol. So let me be clear. The protocol is be human, period. Above all, trust your own eyes over someone else's narrative. You never know when that fired colleague is going to be the next person holding the keys to your future. Thanks for tuning in to Work Unscripted. If this hit a nerve or reminded you of someone you unfairly judged, send them this episode and maybe send them a text too. The journey is yours.